Good evening. From like about of this for it's a very hectic time. So it's Hashem. We'll get back to our programming over the next week or two. Rest and slightly and about tefillah, which I found this week. Sefer Chaim says as follows. In Simon Yudches, Shoresh HaTefillah, the root of Tefillah, Simchas Leba Kadosh Baruch Hu, is the joy, rejoicing of the heart in Hashem. Shneimar, Shen Kocho, Mach Hashem. When you are mishalel, meaning you praise His then do it with simchas lev. Those who mevakesh Hashem should manifest simcha b'shas tehillah at the time of praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, David HaMelech would play the harp whenever he davened, whenever he said a zemer. Or fill his heart with simcha in the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when a person davens, he has to direct his heart towards before whom he is standing. So, first, imagine today, on a weekday morning, you came to shul and they took out their guitars and started playing. Most of us would just go out of our minds, including myself. Even a regular shul, if you sing Hallel on Rosh Chodesh on a weekday, people are going to look at you askance. But I guess it's because we're all Litvaks. But in any event, seriously speaking, the David HaMelech, every time he davened, Sefer Chasim would take a harp because this would uplift his davening and give him the simcha of connection to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, not necessarily every tefillah has to be obviously b'simcha. Obviously, not every tefillah has to be b'simcha because certain tefillahs are tachanunim, and there's bechi, and all sorts of types of tefillah which are different types. In the beginning of Parashas Vayischanan, I believe the Medrash lists 15 types of tefillah, and sometimes the tefillah are done b'tzom u'v'chi u'v'mispei. However, the type of tefillah is called a tehillah, a praise. That one should be done with total simcha. A zemer, that one should be done with total simcha. And I'd like to mention that several years ago, when Rosh Yeshiva, the yeshiva in which I was working, was very, very sick, Baruch Hashem recovered. He asked that the tzibur, if they say Tehillim for him, to say Tehillim with a nigun, not Shira Malo, Hashem, but rather something joyous. And obviously that will reflect the bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and a sense of Kol Madavi Rachmana L'Tavavit, and a simcha to one's connection to Hashem, no matter what the situation is, no matter how dire it may be. This is a very high madrega. Most of us do not reach, and I don't know if we can reach. But it is a very hard madrega if you think about it, for somebody to be so at peace that he, with such tranquility and such equanimity, that he is concerned with our simcha in our Kodesh Baruch Hu at the time of our tefillah. It's a very powerful message. So, again, it's not the way we normally look at davening. Normally, we don't think of davening as a manifestation of simcha. But that, if we did manifest simcha in our davening, I think our davening would look a lot different than it actually does. So that was a bit of a tangent, but I think it was a worthwhile tangent. Now I'll get back to Baruch Shmoneh, which is Bareich. Bareich is a humdinger of a bracha because Bareich. Obviously, there's something going on, and I went to say a roommate. His name is Rabbi Yisrael Zimitrovsky. He's a rabbi now somewhere in Yerushalayim, in the Kotel or somewhere in the old. Not aware, but in any event, we were roommates who were arguing one day about Bareich Aleynu. Little Apikor said that the Bareich Aleynu cannot be taught to the Pashat Parnasa, which we need for daily life. That's not saying which we should do for Shmoneh Esrei. It's kind of a kind of a low thing that the tefillah is about some sort of bracha. We need to get from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So therefore, Bareich Aleynu can be read in a very in that definition order too. But just like which means all about with that in mind, let's see what he said. It's interesting. Does not do this. to my mind, extremely depressing sefer, because when you read it, you see this just 100 years ago, in our lifetime, we can expect to accomplish. Sarah Shavlita was an amazing person, obviously, and very special, and that's just an understatement. But nevertheless, there is gotten from the sefer called from Dargadi to Madrega. He says about Bareich Aleynu. Ninth bracha is Bareich Aleynu. His bracha, a person should die with a broken heart and with the walls of his heart pounding. That this year it should have rain. Why? There should be revach. There should be gain for anim and avyonim for people and the people in dire straits. First, your kavanah is about. Then your kavanah could also be about you and your even if it's very so Gankin and he should have his parnasa as is known from the story of Marsa Bas Besus, famous story about Kurban. She had treasure troves and money, and she couldn't find anything to buy. The siege of wine was bloated by famine, and she died as a result of famine, even though she had great riches. Therefore, a person should think about, contemplate these things, and ask for Hashem's rachamim on his own sustenance. In the winter, one should say the same motor, and a person should put his thoughts, derive his thoughts from the walls of his heart, and he should know that the into lies of the words of the Saint Motor, because it's known, according to Din, that if a person forgot to ask Shanim in the winter, we make him go back. And you should know, brothers and friends, if a person asks for rain only with his lips and wasn't behind in his heart at all, to actually request, certainly is not considered to be a proper request, and is not even a proper tefillah before Hashem within us. Woe to that Baruch Atah Hashem Vorech Hashanim. When he says a person, he should put into his mind the wonder, the kvuos, and he flows, the mighty and awesome of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in that he causes the seed from the land and the wondrous wisdom which there is in this. Like she earlier in his book. Properly in the Chayim of this bracha, Gvuras Hashem. When a person talks about Mevari Uvrech Shnasim Kashim Hatavos, Hashem, we should speak about the Gvur of Hashem in providing all these things for us. And he should dive in this with several times with great simcha and the great wonders of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his awesome wisdom. So, Aleynu, simcha. As a result, or connected intrinsically, his great capacity for when he flows, his capacity to give us that bracha of Bareich Aleynu. That is the Yisod Shavlita. Who the frequently a bracha. That's the bracha that what the Malachim said. Hashem mevarech Hashanim. Yitzchak, last parasha counted, and he found 100-fold that planted. Why the ninth bracha? Because it corresponds to the ninth type of wicked. Somewhere from Bazal, it's a pasuk. Anyway, the ninth wicked person is one concern which says Shvor Zroe Rasha, break the arms of the wicked person, and people who make the price rise of grain out of proportion to inflation there was, and therefore they people who are wicked in terms of deprived And these are it says in that parsha that they wait in ambush in order to seize poor people. So, wait a minute. If you're a bandit, you want to steal from a rich person, a poor person. Of course, you want to steal from a poor person. You're not going to laying an ambush for the poor person. There's no benefit there, right? So that's why, that's how they prove that it's about the people who raise the prices. And because then most of that gouging occurs for the poor people because most people are poor. Because the rich, and they don't have a in their house and they don't have to buy it. So the thing, Hashem should break the arm of the Rishayim and give satisfaction in the world. And that's how their arms are broken. And then there's the rest of us. In other words, the person who questions evil, right? When he wants to do his evil, he should not find the capacity to do so. Also, that said in the 9th capital of Tehillim, the Ashrei Ish, because so it's in Ashrei Shalom Roksha, the first two are usually combined in one. It's in the 8th. Ashrei, first two are usually separate. Anymore that it's breaking it up. It's get right. They made parnasa after, because when a person's sick, he doesn't ask, only after he's healed does he ask for food to make his person throws the fever is asking for food. The person's on the road to recovery. He got reward, then he's more, so to speak, ravenous and inquires about the food. That's the person's sick, doesn't ask for food, only after he gets better, and he wants to find somewhere for parnasa. So then he wants to be able to, in order to bring his body, nurse his body back to him. And common that Kosh Baruch Hu should give us our parnasa. He's damning on the parnasa seinu. Based on our appropriate income, in tranquility and not in anguish. That's in a permitted way, a little bit, so not a forbidden way. The Machzor Kobo says Bareich Aleynu starts at the base and ends at the mem. Bareich Hashonim. Base mem. The Shem Shom Mem Beis. This has to do with the name, which is the name in the Torah, which has to do with the to Masot, which are travels. And a person has to often travel in order to accomplish his living. So there should be some connection between travel and accomplishing one's living. It's also possible that it corresponds to it said gracious. So that is the base of and Tush Bapeh starts with a mem, so mem with the mem of Amosai. Bam is gracious, Amosai. That's very cute. I never heard that. So all the time, the person it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sings him. And this bracha has 30 words. Pasuk Yiftalcha Hashem Esasamecha. Hashem should open his granaries to you. The pasuk Baser is Yodecha. The pasuk Baser is which is 7 words. So that leads up to 30. And like over here, we have the 30 words. Bracha Bareich Aleynu. I assume it's one of the nuschos. I don't know which one. So then it says, grain, there's obviously in the area. I don't know what I'm talking about. Going back to me, Jason. Scratch that. So grain, it's called so conditions. So means the produce. Okay, so we want to do the conditions and the bracha and the produce. And obviously, one without is not sufficient. It's getting close in 15 minutes for tonight, so I'm going to stop here and we'll finish. Hope so. Tomorrow night. Have a good night. Bye.